Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. And we've made it to 2019, January's very first full moon. And it's not just the full moon this season. We are actually entering into a lunar eclipse and a full moon. And it happens to be very spiritual, very significant as far as spirituality is concerned. It's also known as the blood moon and wolf blood moon. If you're brand new to spiritual practices, in today's video, we are going to create our very own full moon release ritual. So if you're brand new to rituals, then this video is definitely going to help you out. And we're still just in time for the full moon for January 2019. So if you wanted to check out what my personal ritual is for the full moon, then just stay tuned and let's get started with the video. Before we get into the actual ritual, let's just talk a little bit about what are rituals and why you would choose to actually follow the moon cycles. So as many of you know, and if you're brand new to this, then we really need to just spend a moment to talk about this. So everything works in cycles. So a couple of things that you need to know about this. So you might be familiar with how, the seasons work in cycles. Well, so does the moon. And the moon helps us in spiritual practices. It helps us tune in, and it gives us a guideline and an outline of what we can really follow. So then that way we're not constantly in push mode, but we sort of find that happy rhythm and we can sort of work together with Mother Nature and with the moon. And the moon happens to go through its own cycles. So if you're brand new to it, then basically all that means is energetically you're going to be feeling slightly different at a new moon as well as at a full moon. And if the more you understand how that impacts you, the more it gives you a little bit more control, so that you don't fight it, but you can actually work together with that energy, and you know when to rest and when to really harvest and to culminate your progress. So everything will sort of relate back to the intentions that you initially set at the new moon. And if you're brand new to it, then you may not have set any intentions. Then you can always just kind of fall back onto the new year resolutions that you may have set. And if you didn't do any of that, then you can also just look at some of your goals that you wanted to achieve for this month or for the next 6 months. And then basically we're going to be placing everything against that. So a couple of things that we need to understand. So this is the very first full moon of 2019. And this is also a lunar eclipse. So what that means is that the moon is the closest, basically the moon closest point to the Earth's elliptical orbit. So that makes it a supermoon. And you may be able to see this, but what's very special about this is that we have it right now in 2019, and then the next lunar eclipse that will happen will be in 2021. So it'll be a few years until we will see another lunar eclipse. So I would highly recommend that you check it out and maybe take some pictures. It's okay to look at it with the naked eye. It's perfectly safe, but it's definitely a very special time that we can sort of work together with that energy. Now, the other thing is that full moons are generally represent, a concept of letting go. And that can be a physical thing that you let go of. That could be something that you go through your closet and you really find a way to purge, or you really find a way to just see sort of what's not really serving you. But it can also mean a behavior pattern or a belief system, something that you're ready to let go of because it's not only that it no longer serves you, but it's just you've simply outgrown it. And you have probably felt that way in the past, where maybe it was one of those things where you used to have a behavior pattern that really seemed to be like that was sort of your coping mechanism. But now that you look back, you're sort of wondering, why did I do that in the first place? Those are some of the things that you can kind of tune into and use the energies of the moon so you can tune into them and really hold it up against your initial intentions of who you are going to become, or the type of person that you really admire, or just some of your intentions that you may have set for this moon cycle. And it's also an opportunity for us to start again. It allows us to begin once more. And if you need to, it allows you to set some new intentions. You can use the next 6 months out so that you're actually working with the energies of the eclipse, the energies of the moon, so that you really have sort of an outline, a guideline that you can sort of work with. Lunar eclipses on their own are already very, very special because they don't happen that often. So we will have one right now, and then the next one will be in 2021. And then if you end up missing these 2 dates, the next one will be in 2050. So they're not very common. And so whenever you have the opportunity to really just take a look and really just take a moment to really tune in, then I think that it will serve you and your health in the best way that it can. Lunar eclipses are basically shadows of the earth that falls on the face of the moon. It's a very transformative time because, so you can kind of look at it 2 ways. Full moons are already about change and about letting go. It's the full this is when the moon is the brightest. This is sort of where like hospitals and things like that usually get a lot of calls, because the energies of the moon sort of brings out, they always kind of say like it brings out the crazy in people. I don't believe that that's very true, but I think that the more aware you become of what characteristic does that bring out in you, then you can sort of start working together with it. It's a transformative time. It helps you, but it's a transformative time because it represents change. And for those of you that love change, like I'm one of those people that absolutely adores change, because I feel like if you keep everything constant, then nothing really, to me it represents growth, and it represents new beginnings, but it also represents just constant change, as in constant evolution. And because that's what it represents for me, I generally don't have a lot of fear associated with it. But I will say that certain types of changes that will sort of push me against my own comfort zone will evoke a lot of fear in me. And I can attest to this because a lot of the larger goals that I have set for myself for 2018 have represented a large form of change. And I remember some of my internal dialogue. It took me a little bit of time to really tune in and really fine tune it so that my internal dialogue can sort of matches and supports my actual goals. So for a lot of you out there, you may be finding that this is the time when you're feeling that maybe your anxiety is high at a higher state. Maybe you're finding that you sort of feel cornered in, like you are sort of forced to change and you really don't like it. Like a lot of people actually don't accept change, and they have a really difficult time moving with the rhythm of change, even though everything changes all the time. So the more we can embrace it, the more we can learn to embrace it and look at it like an opportunity, the more we can sort of be in tune with nature. So lunar eclipses on their own, they can definitely be viewed as like an abrupt change, and it just sort of puts you on a path to where you actually need to go energetically. But you can also look at it, another way of looking at it would be that basically it's the universe that kind of comes down with their hand and it places you beautifully on the path that is already set out for you, that will allow you to really manifest the things that you're hoping to manifest for yourself. So there's 2 really interesting ways of viewing change in itself, but I just wanted to kind of offer you a perspective on that. Also, this would probably be the time to really tune in, see where we need to, exercise a bit more forgiveness and a bit of letting go. What are areas of your life that you can really let go of? And later on in this video, we will actually dive into, I will take you over to my meditation space, and we will set up our crystals, we will set up our meditation space, and we will go through a guided meditation, and I will guide you through how we can sort of let that go. I will show you all of the things that you will need for this, but you will need a piece of paper and a pen, because we're going to be writing down everything that we're ready to let go of. And part of that will also be who can we forgive? What are the so I will guide you through that part of it as well. And honestly, my big hope for you is that we can look at this season with excitement and with hope rather than with fear and with lack and just fear of the unknown. So you might be finding that it is triggering certain fears for you. And my hope is that you will learn to sort of tune in and look at it with a sense of hope instead of fear. So without further ado, I don't want to keep you here much longer. Let's hop on over to my meditation space and then we can get started setting up and we'll get started with the meditation itself. So let's go. Here we go. So when we're looking at supplies, we are going to be using a relatively large piece of rose quartz. You will need a candle and a lighter, and for cleansing, I'm also using the Palo Santo sacred wood, which can be used as a cleansing agent. You will also need just a notebook and either a pencil or a pen where you can just write things down and you can just rip the paper out. I will say that if you wanted to, you could also just keep your journal if you wanted to keep track of it as well. The first thing that we're going to do if you're brand new to just setting up your rituals is light up your sage. I am trying something new here. I have added a couple of dried lavender pieces to my sage stick, so we'll see how that one works out. But really, I wanted to just take a moment to just cleanse all my crystals. Energetically, I wanted to just completely reset all of them. I'm kind of speeding through here because really you've probably seen me do this a few times, but ultimately you're going to cleanse your crystals and you're going to cleanse yourself and cleanse the space so that you are sort of ready to begin your ritual. You always sort of want to start off with a clean slate. And whenever, like if you're finding that your sage stick is not really giving you enough smoke, then you can just pre-light it again and continue on. So find a comfortable place on your meditation mat, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths through the nose, and you can exhale through the mouth. I want you to do that at least about 3 to 4 times while you get situated. We're going to be lighting up the candle right next to us just so that not only for the scent, but also it just helps us just tune in a little bit more. You can place the crystals, whatever crystals you're going to be using, just right in front of you. And make sure that if you do have something to keep you warm and comfy, really the idea is to put you in the most comfortable and calm state possible. Just tune in. And allow a slow, steady stream of bright light to come straight through your forehead and reach all the way down to the base of your pelvis and allow it to completely fill you. Continue to tune in. With your palms up, you're allowing that energy to come in. If you have a difficult time tuning in, you can place your hands on your belly. Make sure that you're breathing with your diaphragm, nice and slow. Just tune in to that beautiful rhythm that your breathing is taking on. Once your palms are down, then you're really rooting down. You're really looking at the things like who do you want to become and what is no longer serving you. Here, once you have finished your about 10 to 15 minute meditation, whatever feels right to you at this given time, just grab your piece of paper and pen and write down anything, any visions, any ideas, anything and everything that have come up for you during this meditation, or just any behavior patterns that are no longer really a fit for you at this given time. And I want you to write that down on a piece of paper because in a moment we're going to be ripping it out and taking it outside. And take as long as you need here. Go as detailed as you need to, or as brief. You can keep it as a bullet point if that works best for you. Make sure you rip out the piece of paper because you're going to need that in a moment. So grab your piece of paper, go outside, grab your lighter and light it up and just let it go. And if you have some time afterwards, check in with you. How are you feeling? Thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful moon ritual. I hope that you will take this time to slow down, tune in, really create your own beautiful ritual. And I hope that I was able to give you a small little outline of how you can really go about doing that. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, obviously you can give me a thumbs up and you can subscribe to the channel if you are brand new and you've never been here before. We talk about a few different topics in this channel. We chat sometimes about spiritual practices such as this video. We talk about green beauty and eco living, or the zero waste lifestyle, and how we can really reduce our consumption, how we can become a more conscious consumer in general, how we can manage our stress, our anxiety. So we talk about some mindset shifts, but then sometimes we also talk about maybe some bullet journaling and how we can actually manage our time in a better, more holistic way. So because we go into a few different topics throughout the week, you might not know when we're going to be covering the topic that you might be interested in. So what I've done to sort of help you out is I usually release a weekly email that I send out to my email community every Sunday, because I usually release a video here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and once on the weekend. So because I go through a few different topics on every Sunday, I usually send out a recap email that sort of shows you some of the best takeaways from each of my videos. And you will also get the schedule for the following week. So if you wanted to sign up for that, it's completely free and complimentary. I left the link down in the description. Also, here's the question of the day for you. What is the number one thing that you need to include in your own new moon and full moon ritual that you cannot live without? Is it crystals? Is it your journal? Is it your favorite cup of tea? I would love to hear from you, so just let me know down in the comment section. And in the meanwhile, keep shining your light, wellness seekers. Just keep going after those big, beautiful, audacious dreams, and take some time to tune in once in a while and connect to divine. And I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.
And the time has come once again. Has it? Yes. Does anybody feel like I look like a shaman with this? We are riding in an airplane. So before we get into the actual ritual, let's take this off because that just looks weird. I totally know what you're thinking. Why is the background blue? I don't know. I have zero explanation here, but let's just keep on writing. So you took your birding experience to the whole new level. It's minus 20 outside. This is kind of keeping you warm. Oh no, you have no idea how fast this is happening right now. You just have to let it go. And that's all that's left afterwards. Okay, bye! Also, is there like an actual funeral for this? I don't know. I think we're just gonna have to just let it go.